All right. Hey, everybody. It's J-Man with Steve here. We're in the Gamma Zone talking some Incredible Hulk. Today, we're on part 2 of our Tales to Astonish because there's just a lot to talk about. We're going to cover number 70 to 85.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So much happens in this. I mean, this is crazy. I have to make notes on my phone because I'm like, so if I'm looking down every 5 seconds, it's because there's so much to talk. We're gonna try to keep this like half an hour or so, but it's crazy. Okay, so that's starting with this issue here.
Yes.
And now I own all of these in physical form. Namor is my main man, and I've got anything with Namor in it. So starting from here, I've got everything. Was Namor in the last Tales to Astonish? I can't remember. But
No.
I think this is when he first.
It's when he first starts. Yeah.
Yeah. So from here on, I own all of these actual issues. I'm not going to go pull them out of their protective sleeves, though. Okay. Oh my God. So like Hulk and Leader team up.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just end it right there, and it's like that's the damn best. I mean, Leader has like skyrocketed. I thought like it's like Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
We've already talked about Leader, but like there's there's Doctor Doom. There's who I really like. Everyone likes Thanos. He's a pretty neat character. There's like these, Magneto. There's these like standard guys, which are like, yeah, these are the big pantheon. Apocalypse, like these are the up villains. But where's Leader in this list? Like,
oh, he's up there.
He's up there, man. This guy's like next trip to the comic shops. I'm buying the Marvel Legends figure. They've got him at my shop.
Oh, nice.
I mean, like, this guy is great. They need to really do something with this guy in the MCU. Like, he's just so wicked.
Well, the indication that he's the best to me is if you look at the end, Hulk doesn't actually beat him. Leader beats Leader.
Right.
Like, Hulk doesn't beat Leader. Like, that's the thing that shocked me, because you're always wondering, like, Hulk can just beat anyone. How will he beat Leader? Because it's obviously not going to be a fist fight, because Hulk wins in 1 second.
Yeah, of course.
So how is this going to happen? And yeah, he look at that. Look at the humanoid in that. Yeah,
they're wicked.
But like, he puts on the ultimate weapon. And you know what? The Watcher is great in this too. Like, he just steps aside. He's like, yeah, take it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah. So, okay. So, Hulk. So Banner takes a bullet to the head. So this is the start of this like epicness. This is where this series, like for at least for Hulk, really like levels the whole damn thing up. Like, here's the beginnings of it. So Banner takes a bullet to the head, and then Leader saves him.
Yeah.
And now it's mostly Hulk. Well, it's actually all Hulk for a long time.
Yeah, for quite a few issues.
Quite a few of these stories. There's no Banner at all. So this is where we start getting into some really crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, there's like this the Watcher.
Yeah.
Is in there with the Ultimate Machine or whatever.
Yeah, the Ultimate Machine.
That entire thing was really epic. So now we're getting into this cosmic Hulk stuff. And Leader actually dies. Well, he's presumed dead. And this now in these next, this is basically 70 to 75. Where all this is that chunk is really good. And Betty actually talks back to her dad and is like, you know what, she's defending Banner.
Yes.
This is the first time now where Betty, I'm like, because really up until then she's been pretty useless.
Yeah, she's been the girl, like the object of affection, and now the love triangle forming between Banner, Talbot, and her, if such a thing exists. Because the thing about like the Hulk is that I assume, and we'll see this later, but you assume that any possibility of a normal relationship between Betty and Bruce Banner is gone. Like, You're talking about this guy could have road rage and turn into a big green monster, jump out of the car, and then use the car to smash other cars.
Yeah.
This is not going to be a harmonious relationship, right?
Dude, forget about it's road rage. It's a good thing I'm not the Hulk. There'd be no cars left on the highway. Yeah, I know. And this is where I actually start to feel more for what's going on, because like you're like, well, Hulk is never gonna have this. He's never, and he says it a bunch of times, like, oh, they're always gonna hunt me down. It's like no matter what. And Banner is screwed. Like this is where you start getting into that Hulk is a curse.
Yes.
And you feel that more. It's the same as the Wolfman, right? Which is sort of, this is like a Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, weird kind of Jekyll and Hyde. It's like Hulk's like a bunch of these things kind of together. But yeah, turning into the Hulk isn't the best thing for Banner, but we love the Hulk. So it's like, this is like weird. He's a very interesting character because you're cheering for the Hulk, but the person who is becoming the Hulk doesn't want to be the Hulk.
The Hulk. Yeah.
And it's not like it's like Spider-Man who's like, being Spider-Man's tough, but he still enjoys being Spider-Man and swinging around and,
Yeah.
Hulk is cool with himself. Banner is not cool with it. So it's weird. It's like, he's not cool with himself.
Well, and this is one of those weird stories where whenever you get a story where you have main character, love interest established, and then you have third character come in, and you never like the third character because it's like this person's trying to horn in, and he doesn't belong here. He's he should respect a relationship. But this is like one of those weird cases where you want her to go with the other guy because that's the only way she's going to have a normal relationship with anyone.
And you know what? And Talbot doesn't seem as slimy as I would have, as I sort of thought.
Yeah,
that he was.
Yeah,
and it was weird because like he's an interesting character on his own, because I always thought he was just like a slimy guy and he's honing in and like what's this guy all about. And when reading it with more adult eyes, you're like, well, I mean, the guy's trying to do his job.
Yeah.
And and like Hulk is a menace. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He's destroying a lot of stuff. In the grand scheme of things, he's saving people. And that's sort of where, the kid in you is like, no, Hulk is a good guy. And he doesn't mean to do all this stuff. And a lot of the times they initiate the attacks on him.
Yes.
But Talbot, like, I think he legit cares for Betty. I don't think he's just being slime. Like, I always thought, oh, he's just like a horny guy slime, trying to get in with Betty. But no, I think he likes Betty. So and it's like Betty, like you can't go with Banner. Like, okay, the guy, they basically clear his name saying, okay, look, he's not a villain, but he's the Hulk. So what the hell? Like, you like, how is there going to be a normal relationship? So it's weird. It's like, and it's Betty's best interest to just go with Talbot. He's a secure guy. He's an honorable guy. Like, he's pretty tough.
Yeah, super honorable.
Yeah. So, okay. So now 76 is where Hulk goes to the future.
Yes. The T guy.
Like, what the hell? This is this I think Incredible Hulk is the place where ideas go to try out. Someone's like, I want to send Spider-Man into the future, and then Jack or Stan or Ditko or one of these guys like, man, that's a dumb idea. And then the guy's like, wait a minute, why don't we let Hulk go in the future? Yeah, okay. And you're like, how's Hulk going in the future? I don't know, but it's cooler if Hulk goes in the future than if Spider-Man goes. Because like, I love the idea that Hulk goes to the future and it's just going to be him destroying shit in the future.
Well, I love the idea that Banner created the device. Yeah,
that's hard to see because of glare. Yeah, there you go. Like, that's the future. Like,
that's the future. It doesn't look very appealing. I don't want to go to that future. But it's funny that Banner created the device that ultimately sends the Hulk to the future. So to the Hulk, Banner is continuously screwing him no matter what.
And then, he gets to the future and like Missile
Yeah,
Like
immediately.
this is page 3. Give the guy a break, man. He just showed up in the future, and they're like, "Wow, there's this guy from the past." Missile, and it's like, dude, what the hell? If they made this into a television series, the budget would be $5 million a minute. It's like they're gonna have to blow up every single set that they build.
Well, you know what was the craziest thing for me is the reveal at the end of 76 to who's behind it all. Like, where did this come from? It's the executioner.
It's the executioner. I know.
I'm like, what's he doing there?
What, Carl Urban? What's he doing in this thing? So that leads into 77, which is the executioner, which we can get to. So they have like a pretty good fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I like when Hulk has someone who can actually match him, like blow for blow. That's why, yeah, see, look, there's like
good fights.
Like he actually gets Hulk on his ass, like he's actually down.
Yeah.
Which you don't like. There's only a handful of guys who can do that, like Abomination, Juggernaut, Rhino, like those guys. But like, this is the first time. Well, not the first. Well, this is one of the first time we're seeing like a mainish, Marvel character give Hulk a good battle.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. And yeah, Executioner, that was super weird. I am reading Journey into Mystery with Thor, and which I'm really liking as well. And I don't know if I've gotten into where like does Executioner do these types of, I don't know what Executioner's like MO is like this.
So, from what I understand, he's basically like the Enchantress's like, lapdog. Like he's in love with her and she's like, she's not in love with him, but she uses him for her schemes and he happily goes along with it because he just wants to make her happy.
Right.
So I guess he's the sort of character, he's not really that, he doesn't really ever to me had like that strong a character.
No.
So I guess it makes sense that, if we want to peel anyone away from Asgard, it's just weird because he's an Asgardian.
Right.
Why are the Asgardians in the future now? Like, does that mean Thor and Loki and the rest of them can go? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, like they would probably foreseeably still be alive because they're immortal, but like what is the Executioner up to? Like it was weird. And that gets kind of cut off. I wonder if that continues on somewhere else because that's the same issue. I'm looking back at my notes where Talbot learns that Banner is so. And then the next one is 78, and that gets right into Dr. Zaxxon. And then 79 is Hercules comes in, and him and Hercules have a battle.
Yes.
So that entire Executioner angle seems to have just gone away.
Yeah, it's almost like they were doing this as a test to say, hey, can we send Hulk in these weird situations? Because to your point, they're not sending your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to the future.
No.
Maybe the Fantastic Four,
for sure.
Maybe the X-Men, possibly. I don't know, but there's not a lot of roster. You can't send the Avengers there. Probably they're more New York based.
Really, Fantastic Four and Hulk. I always like Fantastic Four and Hulk. I always kind of put almost together. Like, if Hulk needs to have a family, it'd probably be the FF family, and Namor can fit into that.
Yes.
I never felt Hulk with Avengers. Like to me, okay, so cards on the table, Hulk is a defender.
Yeah.
That's my team that I love the most. And I liked West Coast Avengers as well.
Yes.
But my go-to book for random reading was anything with defenders because Doctor Strange, Namor, Surfer, what's his face? Nighthawk, Valkyrie, Hulk, like that's defender, not the Netflix defenders,
right?
But like the actual defenders. To me, that was always my go-to team. So Hulk is a defender. He's not an Avenger, which they he doesn't work with the Avengers. I don't like it. Even in the MCU, Hulk always feels like he's there and not, I don't know. He doesn't seem special enough when he's there.
Well, there's no reason why he's there. Right? It's just like Hulk is an identifiable, hero.
Right.
in Marvel, and like people love the Hulk, so we have to put him on the roster because people are like, well, where's the Hulk? But if you actually look at the comics, it doesn't make any sense. If you look at the movies, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like
He's
Thor's a
there
heavy
because
hitter.
he's a popular character. That's why he's there.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
make,
Like,
you know,
I felt that Defenders worked better because Doctor Strange, you got the mystical stuff. Hulk does the
Yeah.
brawling. You know what I mean? And then like you and I like you know, Valkyrie's cool. It just seems like that was a more weird team, and Hulk is a weird character, so I like that better. Like, why do you need Hulk when Thor's a heavy hitter, anyways?
well, it's a loner team, right? Like it's a bunch of characters who are generally loners.
Yes.
So it makes sense for them to come together. The Avengers are the Avengers.
Yeah.
No one, I don't think, you know, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't feel anyone cares about Iron Man outside the Avengers. Like his own comic, I'm sure it's got its fans, but I'm sure people are more pumped up when he's in Avengers. Same with Captain America.
Yeah.
It's Ant-Man, right? Like there's characters who need these teams and ones who don't. The characters in the Defenders don't need a team. It's just cool that they're together as a team.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Silver Surfer comics are quite amazing. I've been reading those as well. And that's Stan Lee's favorite stuff that he wrote. He didn't even create that character. That's mainly a Jack Kirby creation. But the Silver Surfer, the comics are amazing. Like there's guys out there who are like, Silver Surfer is the best, and F everyone else. And you can and when you read it, you're like, oh wow, yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, and I never, you know, Avengers. I never read Avengers as a kid. I don't know why. I actually prefer, I have a lot of Captain America issues. I still have them. And I do like Captain America on his own. But yeah, Avengers really work well together, maybe more so than on their own. Iron Man, I read a little bit now. When I was younger, I read lots of Captain America.
Yeah.
And I always, I don't know. Sometimes these teams, like X-Men was cool because everyone seemed very unique in X-Men. Avengers always seemed like too, I don't want to say generic because they're not generic, but you know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird. I like Thor on his own. I'm okay with Iron Man on his own, but they work really well together when they're all in there. But like, I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. Defenders just seem neater to me. I don't know why. I mean, because the characters were weirder and nobody cared about, you know, like Namor. So it's just cool to have him on there. And I like Nighthawk a lot. I don't know why I'm like this like big time closet Nighthawk fan. and it's like when the Marvel Legends figures came out for that wave, Nighthawk was the first one I ran and bought immediately. I'm like, it's like deep down, he's like one of my favorites, and he doesn't do anything. Like, I don't know. I just thought he was cool. Okay.
Well, in this sense, like, see, that to me, 77, like it was neat to see Executioner. 78 was Dr.
Zaxxon or something.
Zaxxon, who, you know, of the stories, it's one of the weaker ones, only because it's just what you expect. He's like, they turn him over. He's like, oh, I want, you know, his power and all that, and I want to rule the world like another mad scientist, and he's not going to win. And they pin it on the Hulk, you know. And it's like, whatever. But the Hercules fight is amazing. I love the panel where Hulk is literally ripping off the railroad to throw it at the helicopters. Yeah, see, he's literally pulling, he's ripping the railroad off to throw it at the army. Hercules comes up, he's like, what have you done? You've ruined my trip, you bastard. And then they fight.
I mean, this is what I used to call. Well, I don't know if this is. I don't think this would be Bronze Age, but it's like it's a brawl book. It's like if you pick this up, there's going to be a fight. Yeah. And that's what happens. Yeah. If you're picking this up to get, you know, some emotional context or something, it's like forget it. This is Hulk versus Hercules. Let's go.
This is like hyper amusing too, because it's like Hercules is going to Hollywood. And they're like, oh, you know, and he's like, bring me more food. And I think he says something like, when he's fighting Hulk, he's like, by the zesty zither of Zeus.
Yeah, Hercules, I love Hercules as well. I've got the Marvel Legends, both Marvel Legends figures of Hercules. I always liked Hercules a lot. I never knew that the angle was that they didn't know he was Hercules. That he was Hercules, right. So I am reading this. I'm like, oh, they don't know that. They think he's just like some tough actor guy. But it's like, well, how are you going to explain him fighting Hulk? I mean, that's weird. Okay. So then we get into 80, number 80. So now this is where the new collection, if you're getting this on digital, you can get this, and the collection starts with this one. So this is like volume 3 or whatever it is. So 80, it was Tyrannus and Mole Man.
Okay. I love Tyrannus.
Yeah, he's good.
Tyrannus is awesome. And this is really cool because it shows him in like actual peril.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I love his idea where he's like, I'm too old to fight the Mole Man. You go do it. He's just like, you do it, Hulk. And I'm like, okay, well, if you need someone to help you out, I guess it's Hulk. And he's got, you know, he blackmails him. Basically, he takes his friends and he cages them up.
Yeah.
You know, and I just love Tyrannus. Like, I love him, like, trying to, the Octosapien. That's Mole Man. Mole Man's a great character too. I really would love to see him in the MCU.
Yes.
I just like Mole Man and Tyrannus are fighting, and the Hulk gets just dragged into it, and he's like, "What the hell?" But for the first time in like 10 issues, Banner comes back.
Yeah. So he starts to come back at over here at the end.
And for anyone who thinks the Professor Hulk started like later on, at the beginning of this run, he basically was Banner again, but he begins to devolve into the Hulk we know.
Yeah. I did note that on here. He does have the brains in the start of this run.
Yeah.
So he's smarter. But then he does devolve, and then he does come back to Banner. Now, how he got, I'm going to zoom this one in, how he got his glasses back. Don't know about that one. All right. 81. Okay, so I own these original issues, and the character that gets introduced here, I like this character. He's cool. I had never seen this costume, which I'm now going to cosplay as, because this is the greatest. And we have a Boomerang.
So Boomerang, legit, one of my favorite characters that I've read in the Hulk comics. Legit. Yeah. First of all, he's a former baseball pitcher who became an assassin for hire. That is great. He's awesome. Ambidextrous. He can throw with either hand. He's got the discs on his arm. Yeah, I love that idea. Like, he's just, you know, like, that's all. He's got the boots. I love the fact that his costume is basically, and if you notice, in this issue, his helmet is red.
Yes.
Other issues, it's now like steel gray.
Yeah.
Right. I love the idea that he basically was like, what would I need to be an assassin? Well, I would need rocket boots. So he gets rocket boots, right? They're not the right maybe not the right color for the costume, but whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, what else do I need? Well, I'm a pitcher. I should have a throwing projectile, right? He's got different ones. He's got the disc, and he's got the actual boomerang. Because he says at one point, why do you think I'm called Boomerang?
Yeah.
You know, like, it's such an unexpected treat and such a well thought out character, which is shocking to me because it's Boomerang. I'm like, I was watching, I'm like, Boomerang, whatever. Like,
so this is the next issue where it becomes more like grayish, purplish.
Yeah.
His boots are still red though. He was all red before.
Yeah.
And then now it's like this, this gray, this light gray, steel, purpley look kind of thing.
I did like the red better, only because
me too.
It's sort of like, it was like, he's like, he probably got the helmet and he's like, well, this doesn't go with the outfit, so I got to spray paint it red or whatever. But I'm okay with the other one. Yeah. I have to say too, the secrets and the Secret Empire, that was great. Like, first of all, talk about like a get smart-ish, secret organization.
This is chaos. We don't yippee-ki-yay here.
Yeah. And I love like how there's this one line I was dying over again, where he's like, Boomerang was like, he didn't get Betty, and he comes back into the helicopter. Oh, I didn't get Betty. And you're like, but I promise I'll get her. And the guy behind the mask is like, number one is not amused or whatever by your promises. I was dying. I'm like, how can you tell these guys like number 5 died? I'm like, how do you know that's number 5?
Yeah, there's this really awful what we used to call ninja movie, where it would be like they take like a bunch of like old Asian footage and mix it with new American footage. And they've done like 100 of these movies, and I literally have them all. I actually have them all. And they just make these really cheap ninja movies. And there's one where they add numbers on their head, like they all have masks. It's like number 1, and they introduce each guy. It's like number 1, number 2, number 3. Why are you introducing numbers? Like, everyone in that organization is a secret, so we don't know who they are. So like who's who here? Like, what if this guy's like, no, I'm number 1. No, you prove it. Like, well, you take off your mask. It's like, yeah, but I don't know what we all look like. So, I don't want to be in the secret Santa pool in this organization. What am I going to get number 2? Now, wait a minute. Does number 2 like baseball or football? I can't remember. And then you go up to the guy. What is number 2 like? Is it baseball or football? I am number 2. Oh, crap. Did you get me for Secret Santa? I did. And then they go, I keep getting number 5 every year. I can't stand. I don't know what to buy him. He has every year. It's like, this is so rubbish. I know, but I love the Secret Empire. They're so great.
I love how there's this big internal strife. Like, there's this big meeting, and like they're like, "You've always been after us, number 9." I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. Number 9, you piece of trash.
You're trying to become number 1. It's like, what the hell is going on?
It's so weird.
And unfortunately, like, it ends.
It ends
on a resolution. You're like, what are the other issues where we get to see? Because they mention later on, it's actually the Secret Empire smashed, and I'm like, no, I want the Secret Empire to continue.
Me too. I like them. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of things get introduced, and I don't know, like, because we're reading this in collection form.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, was the Secret Empire then later on in that month's issue of FF or something? Like, I don't know. I'd have to go back and try to figure all that out, but it just seems too hard. It seems like, because like stuff is introduced and then it's gone, and it's like, well, I don't know if that continued in another comic, because Marvel did really good in the sense of having like a shared world.
Yeah,
of all these characters. They did a better job of it than DC, until DC had Crisis and all that. But I mean, yeah, maybe the Secret Empire was in a lot of stuff. I don't know. There's Boomerang now with his off-color. So everything that you see that's gray or purple, depending on how your screen is, was red. So he was all red before, and then now he's got this purpley gray thing. I do like the all red better as well.
Yeah.
But I would seriously consider cosplaying as that, because that's the damn best. And then look at this guy from Secret Empire. Sorry. Like, he's all armored up.
Yeah. He's all like, oh, you guys didn't wear armor underneath your stuff like I did. I'm like, yeah. The fact that there's a board meeting is terrific. Come on. Like, they're a secret criminal organization, and there's a board meeting.
And they're all the same.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even know whose turn is it to talk?
Yeah.
They just start talking. It's like, well, your mask is covering your face, so I can't tell if you want to talk or not. Okay, so Secret Empire. Yeah, they hired Boomerang. That's cool.
Like, Boomerang, what I like too about Boomerang is he learns from his encounter from the Hulk. So he says at one point, he's like, thanks to you, I've relooked at everything, and now like I'm like redoing stuff, and I'm rethinking, like, I'm training again, and I'm because you showed me my weaknesses. I'm like, what villain does that? Like, Abomination just beats up the Hulk, and he's like, if the Hulk wins, the Abomination doesn't self-reflect and say, why did I fail? He's just like, oh, screw you, Hulk, I'll get you next time, right? Boomerang actually sits there and says, why did I lose? And then he tries to solve it, which is amazing.
And I don't know, there's something weird in some of these, like, yeah, Leader, Boomerang, Tyrannus.
Mhm.
It's these villains that kind of no one gives two shits about, but they're very interesting characters, and it's kind and it's just a shock to me too. Because like Boomerang, I mean, yeah, like yeah, he's just like a generic B, like a Z grade Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
He's actually roommates with them in one of the more current series. Boomerang is roommates with Peter Parker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's either in Friendly Neighborhood or Amazing. I stopped reading because there's 4,000 Spider-Man comics. It's hard to keep up. But when I was reading them all, they were roommates. And you're like, okay, that's cool. But Boomerang is just so wicked. And
Yeah.
they've never done a figure of this. And it is the same Boomerang that is still around now with like the purple and white thing. It's the same character, right? Is it the same guy?
I think so. I think so.
I don't know if they've changed. I don't know if this Boomerang that I'm reading here is a different person, because I don't know like that than what he is later.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because Boomerang just never, like when they said, oh, Boomerang will be here. So it's like Spider-Man, where you're sitting there and it's like, oh, next issue Tarantula, and you're like, okay, he's more like a B guy.
Yeah,
you're like, I'll read it to see what happens. But it's probably, that's the thing with Boomerang that shocked me, was I was like, oh, Boomerang. I'm like, all right, I'll read Boomerang, whatever. Like it's the next one in the series. I'll just read it, but I'm probably not going to. It's probably not going to register. And then I read it. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
What the hell?
Yeah, I'm shocked, man. When I saw him, I was like, oh dear, Boomerang. I'm like, here we go. And then I'm like, oh, this guy's like so cool. I was like, this is wicked. Yeah. And they never made a figure of this version of Boomerang, which I would 1000% buy.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He looks wicked. I think he's like a really standout character.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we on here? Okay, so Boomerang, Secret Empire, yeah. So 83 was okay. We can kind of, that's whatever. 84. Oh yeah, 84. Here's what I noted about 84. Hulk goes shopping for clothes.
Yes.
He goes to buy clothes.
Yeah, he's like, I need a disguise, because he's looking for the Avengers. He's like, I need a disguise. I'm like, your skin's green. You're a big green guy. Wearing a coat does not hide that very well.
No. That was weird. And hey, and they've got video footage of like Boomerang's fight. How wicked is that?
But you know what I love about that too? Talbot beats him. So anyone who's like, oh, Talbot, he's this minor character, like he takes down Boomerang.
That was cool. I like that a lot.
I really like that.
They need to bring Boomerang into Marvel Strike Force. I'll wail on him.
So Jay, I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
When you started reading this series, did you ever think you would see the Hulk get a plane ticket and sit on a plane, or B, go get some clothes to hide his
I mean, that plane ride, let me see if I can find it. I mean, that was outrageous. I'm trying to see where that is now. I can't seem to find
it. I think it's in the first 6.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, like, how weird. And how does he even, okay, look, those plane seats are awful.
Yeah.
Anyone who is slightly overweight cannot sit in them.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, okay, so I've lost about 110 pounds or so.
Yeah.
I probably still can't sit in them.
Right.
Like, how is Hulk on a plane? Like, even if he's in first class, he's gonna need like 7 seats. He's gonna need like 4 seats. They don't even make it like that. That was weird.
But does he have a passport? Like, how does he get through customs?
How do we get through? I mean, yeah, that was weird. Okay. Oh, so this will be the last one we'll cover in this section, which is the Orion missile.
Yeah, this one actually has a lot going, because I was impressed they came back to it, because originally I think they were trying to like heist it, and it was like, okay, it's another, like, you know, it's like one of these things, like, you know, they had the iceberg missile or whatever in the last block, where like it hits you and it turns, you know, encases you in ice. So I'm like, all right. But I was like, they kept going back to it. So I'm like, what is this thing? Right.
And
so I thought that was rather interesting because it's very rare that, and like the interesting thing that no one talks about with this is like all of these gadgets that the government is coming up with to fight the Hulk were designed by Banner. Like Banner didn't just create the gamma bomb. He created all this other stuff that no one talks about, but like is so important in what takes place later on after he becomes the Hulk.
Yeah, and they never addressed that really in any of the movies or TV shows.
No.
This is when we eventually talk about the television series, which I do love, and Lou Ferrigno is one of my heroes. But the show, as a kid watching, you're like, yeah, this is really cool. But if you go back and read this, it never really is a Hulk television series. It doesn't capture any of this.
Yeah.
MCU doesn't capture it either.
No.
So involved in having Hulk, it's almost like the MCU is taking the TV series Hulk, and this is very true in Incredible Hulk, which we will talk about at some point. They basically take the TV series and they've made that their thing, as opposed to coming back to here. Like, if you go with other MCU characters, they come to the comics, but they don't do it with Hulk.
No.
Hulk is, except for the Planet Hulk stuff, which is in the Thor film, they're always referencing the TV series. Oh, Hulk doesn't want to, Banner doesn't want to be Hulk. Cure. And that's all we seem to be getting. And there is only the 2 films. And really I guess that's one of the main things of Hulk. But they never went back to try to, maybe if they're going to do another Hulk, there's rumors now or whatever. They should mind the comics. I want to see like this cosmic stuff. I want to see like even the future stuff. Like some of this stuff. Hulk has the most interesting things going on that we can work with, and they don't seem to be going back to the comics. It's weird. Every other character they go to the comics, but because Hulk was a successful television series, and I guess this is why they're doing it. Captain America, the TV movies were rubbish. Iron Man never had a show, so they don't have anything to mine. The only thing they go to is the comics, which is what they have. But Hulk, because it was a successful television series and acclaimed and all that, they're mining that. Yeah. But they should really be going to the comics.
I agree. Because those movies, even like you're thinking about like the first Avengers movie, where like they sort of like put Bruce Banner and their Tony Stark and they're working together. And you're like, why does Tony Stark need Bruce Banner?
Right.
Like Tony Stark built like buildings. Bruce Banner, you haven't demonstrated he's built anything, right? Like there's no actual recognition of the great intellect of Bruce Banner or what he's done. What I love about these comic blocks now that we're reviewing them again is that you see he built things over the progression of his career. He earned the title of one of the greatest scientists in the world, right? By building all this stuff and designing all this stuff. You don't get that anywhere else in any other medium, right? There's no respect for that sort of facet of the character, which is a mistake, because part of the tragedy of the Hulk is this guy could have designed like the cure for cancer.
Right.
Now he can't because he's too busy running around like an angry green person with, like a green, Hulk. So he'll never finish that research. He'll never do this. He'll never do that. Like, it's a tragedy. Like, Hulk is a tragic story, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Right. But no one really, everyone's like, oh, Hulk. Well, they sort of tried to talk about in Ultron where like Black Widow was with him. He's like, oh, I can't have kids and blah, blah, blah. But that's really the only indication. I guess the TV show too, like he has to keep like going from place to place and he has no home. But like there was never any big picture perspective of like, what are we losing as a society and as humankind from Banner becoming the Hulk? Besides, he turns into Hulk and destroys stuff.
Yeah.
What are we missing from the man?
Yeah, they never address Banner's accomplishments. It's like, and how smart he really was. Like you just thought, oh yeah, he made the gamma thing. Okay, whatever. And even in the MCU, you're right. MCU Hulk or MCU Banner, he's useless.
Yeah.
Like only in Endgame where he starts to help come up with stuff with him and Pym and Tony. It's like he's adding stuff. It's like, yeah, but before that, with Ultron, I guess a little bit, but like, you're like, okay, but why? Like you and I might know that, yeah, Banner's really smart, and yeah, for sure, he's awesome. But in the MCU, they weren't showing him as smart as he really was.
Right.
We're gonna end off, and this is a great place to end off because literally, he's literally transforms
Yeah.
Banner
On the side of the missile.
on the side of the missile, and you're like, holy crap, what is gonna happen there? And, that's the next one. Oops, with Namor on the cover.
Yeah.
These would alternate. So Namor cover, and then it'd be Hulk on the cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna end off there. We'll probably, I think the next one will finish off Tails.
Yeah.
And also, I have a request from someone who has been on before. If you remember, we did something talking about some of the DC stuff with a special guest, and he wants to talk about the Hulk. So
okay,
maybe the three of us will link up for something. So the next Gamma Zone may be a special edition Gamma Zone.
Yeah.
And depending on when, it'll either be the completion of the Tales to Astonish era, or it'll be a special episode. We're gonna, stay tuned for that. We'll figure out how that goes. But
okay.
Let us know in the comments if you're reading any of this stuff, or what your thoughts are on all this Hulk stuff, and the missed opportunities and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we might even cover some She-Hulk stuff as well, because we know the TV series is.
Yeah.
We can talk about that a little bit as well. See what we want to. Never read She-Hulk comics, to be honest with you. I like She-Hulk from Fantastic Four, and I like the current Immortal She-Hulk, and that's it. My She-Hulk knowledge is extremely limited, but we might cover some of the stuff for her. But anyway,
yeah.
All right. I guess we'll end off there. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.